Okay, when you think of the new year, you think of completely starting anew, starting over, fresh, everything new. You'll never see the same thing again. I can't really say the same thing about Raw tonight. Now, what I mean by that is, for months we have been teased by this impromptu, out of the blue commercial with this weird kid and this other weird little girl on the side creeping people out, saying that things are gonna end and all this doomsday crap. And we finally find out who it is. And it's what everybody has been saying on YouTube, on Twitter. Everybody has known this. Was Chris Jericho has made his return. Oh, awesome entrance, spectacular entrance, coming out, running down to the ring, getting everybody hyped up to a half-dead audience. But he finally gets in the ring and he has a mic in his hand and all he says is, come on, come on. Trying to bring people up to be louder. And it went on for 5 minutes. What? We've waited 2 months or even longer for you to show up, and you finally do, but you say nothing. For 5 minutes, all you did was run around the ring and mingle with the crowd. What did you do? Forget your lines? And as for John Laurinaitis, we know who you are. We know what your status is. We know whatever else that we know about you. Stop announcing yourself every time you enter in the room. Okay. Now that I got partially that out of my chest, here I go with the first Raw review of 2012. January 2nd. Here we go. Like I said in my intro, when you think of 2012, when you think of a whole new year, you think of something completely new, completely fresh. I can't say the same thing about this Raw tonight. It's the same lackluster crap that we saw last year. Now, with the Royal Rumble coming up, they really got to step up their game. And you'd think that they would actually step up their game promoting the Royal Rumble. And they kind of did while showing like old clips of like one of the best Royal Rumbles around in 1995 when Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble, and in 1988 when Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the Royal Rumble. I mean, that's classic nostalgia, but that's still not doing anything to pump up the Royal Rumble that you're about to show in 3 weeks. You gotta do better than that, WWE. And John Laurinaitis is really getting on my nerves. And the reason why he is not because of the fact that he's bland and just completely boring and lackluster and they're trying to, make him all cool. It's the fact that they're trying to make him like Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Now, Vince is a character all in his own. You can't really copy somebody like him because he actually had charisma. He had the talent. He even had the build of a wrestler when he really wasn't a wrestler. He was actually a boss. But either or, he had that character that you just can't copy. And they're trying to make that with John Laurinaitis. Like, they're trying to make him shady. They're trying to make him two-faced by trying to play both sides. He's doing it badly. And then the fact they're trying to have him play with CM Punk's head coming out there and actually stopping them. The thing is about that is that you don't know whether or not the match is still going or whether the match is actually stopped. That's the only problem that I have with it. It's like you're not double-crossing anybody if you don't know whether or not you're double-crossing. Well, you're double-crossing them if you don't know they're double-crossing them, but you're not double-crossing them if you actually try to do it in a good way on a positive point. It's like you can't be a thief if you get caught. And he's getting caught for the last 2 weeks. He's been getting caught. So, what? That's not what Vince McMahon would do. Vince McMahon will be like devious about it. He'll be underhanded and shady. I can't say the same thing about John Laurinaitis. And they really need to stop making him like Vince. It's just not going to work. And honestly, I am so disappointed at the Divas division that it's not even a point to even care anymore. The fact that they just had this random tag match between Eve and Kelly and the Bella Twins. And I think that it was good that the Bella Twins won because they're becoming more and more irrelevant as time goes on. Like, they really don't have a purpose anymore. They're just valets, and that's all they are. But now that Alberto Del Rio is gone, they better, start earning their keep because they could be cut just like Maurice. which makes me sad because I really miss her. But moving on, when you usually see somebody from SmackDown on Raw, that lets you know that it's gonna automatically be a filler. Like for Cody Rhodes and Daniel Bryan, when they actually had their match, there was really no rhyme or reason to have another champion versus champion match. It was just a filler, something thrown in there. I mean, honestly, Daniel Bryan, and I really do think that there's some foreshadowing here. It's just saying you better enjoy your title while you have it because you're not going to have it for long. And something tells me on SmackDown he is going to lose his title, and when he does, he's going to literally fall into irrelevancy. He's going to no longer be involved in anything. He's going to have to literally fight in order to be involved in anything. And that's going to be really, really sad. He's probably going to have to turn heel to get noticed. And speaking of heels, The Miz. It was nice to actually see The Miz out there. It was nice to actually see R-Truth and their feud kind of building up. But it's a given that The Miz is probably going to get squashed by R-Truth. Now, the last time The Miz got squashed, it really did take him down. But I can't really say that the same thing happened to the winner. I mean, for example, A-Rod. When A-Rod squashed The Miz was pretty much out of relevancy for a while, but then the same thing happened to A-Rod. And I think they really need to bring A-Rod back. Bring him back because Raw really does need something. Something fresh, something new. And there's really nothing fresh or anything new happening on Raw right now. So bring A-Rod back, please. But one thing I can say is they're doing a really great job in pushing Wade Barrett. Especially the spectacular cliffhanger that I saw on SmackDown this past Friday. Man, that's one thing I can say about it. But the one thing I didn't really agree with was the fact that Santino Marella was his opponent. Now, Santino Marella is a great wrestler. He has a huge amount of potential. But it bothers me how, for years, he's still comic relief. They need to actually try to make him a lot more than just comic relief. For crying out loud, he was one of the final four in the Royal Rumble. He almost won the Royal Rumble. But unfortunately, he got knocked out of the ring. I'm hoping that this year things will be different. I'm hoping this year he will actually be like one of the final two. So he will actually attempt to win one. Because I really do believe that he would be a great IC champion. It'll be a great build-up. But as usual, they're probably just going to leave him hanging. It's going to be comic relief all over again. But I've already said my piece about Y2J, and I'm not even going to go into it. I'm just so pissed at the fact that they built this whole crap up for him to be running around a ring like an idiot for almost 6 minutes. It's like he forgot his lines or something, and everybody was in the dark, like, what just happened? Not to mention the fact that the audience was half dead. Like, nobody cheered that loud. He literally had to pump up the crowd. If you have to pump up the crowd when you make your debut, you should not come back. Like, you should probably do a few more matches and then leave. Because if it was The Rock or if it was Stone Cold, that place would be shaking. But he literally had to pump up his fans to cheer for him. That's pathetic, man. Honestly, the six-man tag really didn't make any sense to me either. The fact that they had Mark Henry, Kane, and Jack Swagger out there with Zack Ryder of all people, and the Big Show, as well as John Cena. It just really didn't make any sense to me at all. I really didn't care much for this match. It's not the match that was horrible. It just didn't really pair up and make any sense to me. But all in all, I'm really disappointed in this Raw. You really thought that this Raw would actually come out with a bang. The only bang that actually happened was the interest to Chris Jericho, but then the performances later on was just so lackluster and just left you not caring about anything at all. Plus, at this point in time, you really want to get people hyped up about the Royal Rumble, and they did a horrible job doing that. I mean, I'm going to be nice here because the fact that Chris Jericho came back and the fact those stupid commercials are gone, which is a huge plus for me, I have to give it a C- for the night, and that is being generous. And that's because Chris Jericho made his return. His debut was pretty good, but then we got no Brodus Clay. We got Chris Jericho, not even a spoken word, but then we got no Brodus Clay. And then no pump up to the Royal Rumble. I should give it a D, I should give it a D plus, but since Jericho made his return, I guess I gotta give it. No, I'm giving it a D plus. Screw that. This is a D plus for tonight because it's horrible. They said that Brodus Clay was gonna make his debut. He has no debut. We had to look at Jericho running around the ring for 6 minutes. Then all the performances were completely lackluster and dead. Not to mention the fact that we do not care much about the whole Kane and I mean Kane being philosophical enough is enough to make my brain explode. But for real, D plus. Sorry. And the plus is a positive. So anyway, this is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. See you later.